That was Keisha Cole, Heaven Sent. So now there are a lot of ads where Republicans are decrying the rise of crime in America. And there is no doubt crime is on the rise in America. But unlike the focus of these particular advertisements, crime is up all over the country. It's not just in blue states. It's certainly in red. As a matter of fact, red states have the highest uptick in crime. As a matter of fact, the potential Speaker of the House, should the Republicans take it, Kevin McCarthy, in California, has the highest spike in crime of his district. So this notion that crime is an issue because they know that it is one of those things that turns heads and works is a bit of a misnomer. So if we have a rise in crime, it's been gone on for the seven years and not 2. It's all over the country. It is a serious problem that needs to be addressed. What they'll do about it is very interesting. So we'll see about that, what they want to do about it. The ad never talks about that. But if they're so interested in stopping crime, they seem to be interested in stopping crime unless those criminals and those thugs attack the Capitol. Unless they shit all over the Capitol and walk around threatening people and start fights with police officers, hurting hundreds of them. So that's not a crime. They also don't think it's a crime if somebody who believes in QAnon and some of their political rhetoric breaks into the home of an 80-something-year-old woman and attack her 83-year-old husband. And then rather than decry that violence, they make up a gay smear. They say, oh, he was in his underwear and it was a gay lover thing. Rather than deal with the impact of the verbiage and the words that you have used that one, at first, spiked a potential overthrow of the government and a direct assault on a democracy. Now, the extrapolation of that is that now a young, older man, a coward, went in there and beat an older man. We had reports of zip ties, people with zip ties walking around the Capitol. Now we have people with the young man, the deranged coward that broke into Nancy Pelosi's home, Speaker Pelosi's home. He had zip ties. So I guess zip ties have now replaced the "What Would Jesus Do" bracelets. It is easy to see that they don't want you to vote. They do not want democracy. They don't want it. They want a fiat. They want to overthrow a government. They want to supplant democracy, and they'll do it through intimidation. It's easier. You will go to polling places in certain areas, and they're particularly areas of color, where they have armed men supposedly watching to make sure the vote is the integrity of the vote. But there was never been there's never been a provable thing, an attempt to overthrow the election process except by them. So it's easier for you to drive around with pickup trucks and be armed and walk around with ski masks, intimidating voters, but you can't give a voter water. That's illegal. Everybody knows how important this election is. Everybody knows that their goal is to stop you from doing. See, your vote may not be important to you, but it damn sure is important to them. They wouldn't be fighting so hard to stop you from doing it. They wouldn't be gerrymandering districts. They wouldn't have written all these laws that make it increasingly tougher to vote. They would have armed people, armed militia in front of polling places trying to intimidate voters. So maybe to you, your vote doesn't matter. Maybe to you, it doesn't count. But the people's trying to stop you from doing it, it damn sure does. Now the Supreme Court is taking up affirmative action in college admission. How do you think that's going to go? People said, oh, they're not going to do anything about Roe versus Wade. That's settled law. It will not be just Roe versus Wade. It will not be affirmative action. It will be gay marriage. It'll be workers' rights. It'll be all kinds of freedoms and all kind of progress that was made. But you sit home and you say it doesn't count and that they're all the same. That nothing is going to change. Now, what you could have is a situation where people who are determined to destroy democracy, who are determined to run this government like an authoritarian government, have their hands on the levers of power. Do you actually think that they're going to enact laws that make it better for you? You actually think they're going to do things that make it easier for you? Yes, inflation is high. It's high all over the world. And yes, rightfully everybody's angry about it. I defy you to tell me what they plan to do about it. They've never once told you that. What they told you is to be angry at something. Well, gas was, $2 and there's $4. That's simple. When the administration that currently is in place took over, nobody was driving, and now everybody is. Inflation rises because now there's an uptick in demand, and that superheats inflation. That's what it is. It's not just here. When people make it harder for you to vote, when people try to intimidate you out of doing it, when people try to scare you and lie to you and mislead to you, it can only tell you one thing. Those people do not want you to say what you need. They do not want you to vote. So you want to be tough on crime except when it tries to overthrow a government. You want to be tough on crime except when a sick coward goes into a political leader's home and tries to ask where she is, and in lieu of that tries to gives an 83-year-old man a crackhead and put him in the hospital. And rather than say that was a cowardly act, you say that it was a gay tryst gone wrong. And that is the temperature of where we are today. Everything's a crime when brown people do it. Everything's a crime when black people do it. Everything's a crime when poor people do it. But when it's people who are openly trying to overthrow the government and intimidate witnesses and attack political rivals, that's okay. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.